In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why you still struggle with lust, even though you're going to Mass daily, even though you're praying the Rosary daily, even though you're doing everything right. This is why you still struggle with lust. St. Catherine of Siena used to be tempted, and tempted even with desires of the flesh. The devils would stir up in her disgusting passions and thoughts, and she hated it, but she was subject to it, and she would sit there in her misery and just be tormented by these temptations. And after all of this had gone on for a while, and she had nearly fallen several times, and she was struggling, and she was down, and she was weak, the Lord came to her. And St. Catherine of Siena said to the Lord, "Lord, where were you, and why was I subject to all of these temptations? I hated it." And the Lord said to Catherine, "The fact that you did not enjoy the temptations was a sign that I was with you." So if you're going through this and you're experiencing these temptations, because we've all been there, if you're a healthy young adult male, you've been there and you know what it's like to be tempted with desires of the flesh. That's the way it is. That's fallen human nature. We all have it. And if you are there, recognize that as long as the temptations to you are distasteful, as long as the temptations are crosses and obstacles and you don't want them there, as long as that is happening, God is with you and he's trying to lead you back to himself. So why doesn't he just take all the temptation away totally? Because God doesn't want you to be a baby spiritually your whole life. God wants you to grow and to become a man. And part of the way that we do that is through struggle, strife, temptations, hardships. So I'm going to share with you the most powerful tactic I have found for overcoming temptations of the flesh. And I think if you incorporate it into your own life, you'll be able to see these transformations happen. You'll be able to see how you can overcome your demons and become ready to be a husband, to be a father, to be a man of God, to be a saint. That's what this is all about, becoming a saint. So what do you do whenever you feel a temptation of the flesh? Practical advice here. St. Jerome says, make sure your hands are always busy about some good work. That way, you'll always be too busy for the devil. What do you do when you feel a temptation of the flesh? Go and do something productive. Make something, specifically in the service of your fellow man. What gifts do you have? What talents do you have? What can you do to make somebody else's day? If you can devote your energy and your passion into doing something good and kind for somebody else, the temptation to serve yourself will disappear. It'll go away. So do an examination with me real quick. Just think, what talents do I have? What am I good at? What gifts do I have? And how can I use those gifts to better my fellow man and to serve my fellow man? It could be simple. It could be as simple as making food for your neighbor or picking up food for your neighbor from Chipotle. I love Chipotle. This video is not sponsored. If you are an artist, it could be something as simple as drawing a picture for a neighbor or for a brother or sister. It could be anything, but just what talents do you have and how can you use those in the service of your fellow man? What this is going to do psychologically, it's going to get your attention off of yourself and off of your own desires, and it's going to get your attention on how you can benefit other people, because this is how Satan tricks us. He tricks us into thinking our lives and even the small moments in our lives are trivial. They're not trivial. Do you have any idea how much damage one Hail Mary does to the kingdom of Satan? One Hail Mary? And Satan wants to trick you into thinking, oh, you're alone, nobody cares, nobody knows, your life doesn't matter, it's inconsequential, it's insignificant. Blasphemy, utter lies. No, your life and your decisions, even in the small things, the smallest things, they matter. C.S. Lewis in his book Mere Christianity talks about how good and bad both grow at compounding interest rates. Your small decisions today will make you into a great saint tomorrow. And your small vices and small failings today could make you into a great sinner tomorrow. It's compounding interest. It's exponential growth. Your small decisions matter, and they matter tremendously. If you understood how much good you were taking away from yourself and from others every time that you watched filth on the internet, you would never do it. But what the devil wants you to do is he wants you to take your view of the world and squeeze it down into this present moment and say, look how small this moment is. What you do in this moment doesn't matter. That is a lie. It's an absolute lie. God made you. God made the present moment that you are in, and God does not make mistakes, and he does not make insignificant things. This moment that we're in right now, it matters, and it matters for the salvation of souls, and it matters for the well-being of the entire world and the entire church. So at this moment, begin to pray and don't stop. Keep praying. Pray until the temptation goes away. Pray and pray ardently. Pour out your heart to the Lord and give him everything. If you do that, these temptations will start to go away. If you take the temptations and you use those temptations as fuel for your prayer life, the devil will stop tempting you because he'll just be fueling your prayer. So what do? If you feel tempted later today, later this week, remember, your small actions matter. Your small moments matter, and they matter greatly. And begin to pray and pour out your heart to God, and then busy yourself about some good work. Take the talents that God has given you and use them to serve other people. If you do those two things, the temptations will melt away and you'll be able to overcome the vice of lust, even if you've been struggling with it for years. Because there are many, many men out there, and I work with a lot of them, but there are many men out there who struggle with this temptation for years. And what it comes from is a lack of understanding how much dignity, how much strength and power is in you, even in this present moment. So take advantage of the time that God has given you. Redeem the time, for the days are evil. And here we are in the midst of all things. If you want to join me and a group of other men in praying the Rosary daily and in overcoming our vices, especially the vice of lust, then check out the link in the description and I'll see you there.